is Chris Secek, Central Region Sales Engineer with Fowler Precision. Today I'm on board MTC 1 here in Houston, Texas, and we're going to take a look at the Tremos V-Series height gauges. Tremos has a range of these gauges from a V3 up to a V9, and within those we have varying accuracies as well as some different features. Today we're working with the V5. This is our 16-inch unit. This gauge is available in 0 to 16, 0 to 28, and 0 to 40 inches. We also have dual probe holders on the V5, which allows us to get up to an extra 12 inches of measurement range by moving that probe from my lower holder to the upper probe holder. I will set it here in the lower probe holder to get started. First thing we're going to do is turn the gauge on. Whenever I turn on the gauge, the first thing it's going to ask me to do is reference the gauge. To do that, I will need to move the carriage upward past the reference arrow right here. You notice that once that happens, I get a symbol here on the gauge asking me to set the ball diameter of my probe. I'm going to put it in the motorized mode to do that. The V5 has both a manual and motorized mode. Once that's in place, I will let this start to calibrate that ball diameter. You'll also notice some deflection here in our floating carriage. The Tremos V-Series has a secondary carriage that allows for consistent force with every measurement to eliminate any operator influence on those measurements. We've got our ball diameter set, so I'm going to move back into manual mode, come down and zero off my surface plate, bring in my test piece, and do some measurements. So to begin, we're going to be working in a distance mode. You can see my up and down arrows here on the screen signify that. I'll move my part in here. I'm already zeroed off my surface plate. As I take this measurement on the first surface, you notice that I get the 481 thousandths measurement. Now, as I disengage, you'll see that I get on my top line my live probe height, but my bottom line holds that last measurement that I took. I'm going to come up and take this next surface in an upward direction. You see now, while I'm still engaged, I have my current measurement from my reference, which is my surface plate, 1.9 inches. But the bottom line holds the difference between my last two measurements, which right now is 1 inch, 419 thousandths. As I disengage, again, the last measurement drops to the lower line. I go back to a live probe height. If I want to recall the difference that I just had up there, I just press my number 3 key with my delta symbol, and you see that 1 inch, 419 thousandths comes back. I can also determine what the center line is between those last two surfaces I measured by pressing the number 6 key with the center line symbol on it. And you get 1 inch, 191 thousandths for that center line. Jumping back to the measurement mode, I'm now going to go over the changing your references. So the Tremos V-Series has up to 9 different references. You can see in the upper corner you have a datum symbol signifying which reference you're currently in. So right now I'm in reference 1. I'm going to use my datum symbol on the number 7 key to change to reference number 2. So now I can come up with my gauge and set my reference number 2 on another surface, and maybe set one more. I'll jump to reference 3 and set that on top of my part. And now, as I have my datum set for all this part, I can go take any surface measurement I want, come down here, measure that surface, see I'm at negative 4 inches, 449 thousandths. Maybe that's because I'm in the correct reference. No problem. I can jump back to reference 1 and get that dimension from my surface plate, my original reference, without ever having to remeasure that feature. Moving on from the distance measurement to my diameter measurement mode, I press my large blue key here on the bottom right, and you see the symbols change up here. I now have a diameter and center line feature. I'm going to come measure this large diameter. What I'll do is come down slightly off center of that diameter. Once it beeps, it's going to hold that downward force for me, so I can actually sweep the part, and you'll see these numbers change. That bottom number will freeze once I've reached the tangent point of my diameter. I'll sweep slightly past that tangent point, come back and take the top. Do the same thing, and again, once I hit the top of that, those numbers will freeze. And here I have my diameter, 3 inches, 739 thousandths, and my center line at 2 inches, 667 thousandths. A lot of customers are looking to do hole-to-hole measurements with their height gauge. That's no problem with the Tremos V-Series. I'll jump into reference 4, which is currently open, and zero that center line that I just found And now I can come up and take my next diameter measurement. Same way we just did last time. Sweep the bottom, back up, sweep the top, and there I have my diameter, 1 inch, 259 thousandths, and my center line, and that is my hole-to-hole distance from the last diameter that I measured. Going over some of the other features that we have on this gauge, key by key, we've already gone over the number 3 delta key. The number 4 key allows me to do a live switch from imperial units to metric. My number 5 key is what we call a min-max delta or min-max TIR function. That allows me to find minimums and maximums, peaks and valleys on sweeping features like you see here. Or if I press it 3 times, you see I get arrows top and bottom here on the screen. That's going to allow me to determine how flat a surface is. So just like we did with the diameters, I'll engage that surface, let the gauge hold the downward force, and this bottom line will change from, as I go across this, it's going to calculate the difference between my highest and lowest points touched as I tram that surface. We've already gone over the number 6 or centerline key, as well as the number 7 key, which is our datum key. The number 8 allows us to change the resolution if I want more or less decimal places. And then number 9 is actually going to take me right back where we started. I press the number 9 key, and that prompts me to calibrate my ball diameter in case I were to change probes. So that's the quick version of the Trimos V-Series. Feel free to contact Fowler if you'd like to bring the Mobile Tech Center on site so we can demo all of our gauges at your facility. Thank you.
Working on